and I am so happy to have you all here today. Today I am continuing my Pat or Toss YouTube review series created by myself. Today I'm going to be looking at the Cocoakind and Versed oil cleansers. I'll be talking about my experience in using a balm versus gel oil cleanser and also letting you know if these are items you should pat on your skin or simply toss. Please keep watching, and also please consider liking this video, sharing, commenting, and if you wouldn't mind, subscribing. Thank you so much and enjoy the video. So let's talk about what double cleansing really is. So double cleansing is supposed to be the first step in your overall cleansing process. You can double cleanse in various forms. You can use an oil cleanser, you can use micellar water. I prefer to use an oil cleanser because with the micellar water, the products advertised with micellar water, they say that it can stay on the skin. I prefer, if I'm going to start in my double cleansing process, the first process I want that to be rinsed off before I then go in with my actual cleanser, which is meant to then wash away and cleanse the skin before I then go in with my products. So why double cleansing is really important is because it gives your skin a perfect layer to start with your skincare routine. And what I mean is because an oil cleanser will go, any double cleanse for the first step, the micellar water, whatever, they go ahead and they give your skin a perfect layer because it removes the impurities and the makeup and the debris that builds up from during the day on the skin. It removes it, and it removes it in a gentle process compared to using like makeup wipes. Removes it in a gentle process, and it also helps to get rid of any old skin cells as well. So that's why it also helps in the whole skin cell renewal process and why it's so important to double cleanse at night. So that's really important, and it's important, and you'll hear so many people talk about don't use makeup wipes, and it's for this exact reason. Makeup wipes are very abrasive and they can be very aggressive to our skin because think about it, you're scrubbing and scrubbing and scrubbing. It's almost like, taking your arm and dragging it against your carpet. You know what I mean? You're gonna get a rug burn. So it's that same, mental process of making sure that we are as gentle as we can be on our skin. And then also, makeup wipes aren't always 100% for sure being able to take off the makeup on the skin. So you really want to be sure that when you're doing that first step in your double cleanse process, you're using an oil, a balm, whatever it may be, that's really going to go in and work and remove all of the dirt that accumulated from the day. And I even double cleanse if I'm not wearing makeup. Most of the time I don't wear makeup unless I'm in front of you. So I actually double cleanse on a daily basis at night. And so it's really great, and I found it really helpful. So I'm going to start by talking about the Cocoakind cleanser. On their website, they describe it as this. The Cocoakind Oil to Mid Cleanser is going to be your go-to for when you just want to wash your face. Centered around prebiotic fermented oat with vegan, gluten-free, and organic ingredients. So the top 5 ingredients in the Cocoakind cleanser are these. The first one is So the first one is the Helianthus sunflower seed oil. We got through it. We did it. So this is an ingredient that actually is really good for strengthening and replenishing the skin. I'm gonna go and polish twice and just kind of read what they have described it for. Sunflower seed oil, 60% on average, linoleic acid content, has the ability to help replenish, like I said, strengthen and soothe the skin. So that's a fantastic ingredient to have as the first ingredient listed. As I mentioned in my other videos, I'm only going to be reading the top 5 ingredients when it comes to looking at the breakdown for each product. This is because when you're looking at an ingredient list, the higher up an ingredient is listed, that means that there's more formulation of that ingredient. And so I like to really pay attention as to what is at the top and what is at the bottom of the ingredient list before going through the entire ingredient myself. That would take a long time on camera to do, so I'm just going to be focusing on the top 5 ingredients to kind of give you an idea of what you're getting. So after the sunflower seed oil, the second ingredient listed for the Cocoakind is glycerin. Glycerin is a humectant, and what that means is that basically all of the water on the layer of our skin, it helps it to kind of, suction in, and it holds on to that water, to the water particles, which helps keep the skin hydrated. So again, we're really off to a great start with that being the second ingredient. So the third ingredient is Vitis vinifera. This is Vitis vinifera grapeseed oil. So this is an emollient, and what that means is that it helps to prevent water loss. And the fact that it's a grapeseed oil that also has antioxidant properties. Antioxidants are really great. Vitamin C is another antioxidant. Niacinamide is another antioxidant. Antioxidants help to reduce or prevent the amount of environmental damage that's being caused on our skin. So those are really great ingredients to have so far. The fourth ingredient is water. So hello, can't argue with water, H2O. So that's water. And then the fifth ingredient is sucrose laurate. According to Paula's Choice, they define that as an emulsifier. What that means is it keeps ingredients from separating. So that's really great. So looking at the top 5 ingredients, so far I'm definitely seeing that this would be a very strong candidate for an oil cleanser to continue to use on a consistent basis. So that's with the ingredients for the Cocoakind. Now I'm gonna move on to talk about the Versed product. So now we're going to talk about the Versed Day Dissolve Cleansing Balm. Ooh. So we're gonna go again to the Versed website and see how they describe this product. So according to Versed, this face wash in balm form melts away makeup and impurities without stripping moisture from your skin. And they give a huge shout out to vitamin E. So the top 5 ingredients for this Versed product, the first one is ethyl hexyl palmitate. I got that right. So it's ethyl hexyl palmitate, which according to Paula's Choice is an emollient. And what that means, as I mentioned before, is it helps to prevent water loss. The second ingredient is isopropyl palmitate, which is another emollient. Then you have PEG20 glycerol trisalteratate. So then the fourth ingredient is polyethylene. I probably butchered that pronunciation, but it's a thickener. It kind of gives this product the thick consistency that it has right now. And then the fifth ingredient is tocopherol acetate. That's another name for vitamin E, and that is an antioxidant. As I mentioned earlier, antioxidants are things like vitamin C, niacinamide. So again, both products have antioxidant properties. In the Cocoakind, we saw the Vitis vinifera, that was the grapeseed oil. That was an antioxidant. So now in this product with the Versed, we see vitamin E. So both products, in my opinion, are really on track. Looking at the top 5 ingredients and the thorough ingredients that it has, they're both really great products to hold up to the claim of being a great oil cleanser and the first step in your cleansing process. So now let me talk about how I use these products. So how I use both products is rather similar, to be honest with you. It's the same way I would use any oil cleanser, very similar process. So the first step for myself is I like to apply these products on dry skin. The first step for any process is I go ahead and I wash my hands, and I want to make sure I'm working on clean hands when I'm cleansing my skin. So then I do that, and then I apply these products on dry skin. With oil cleansers, I actually tend to use a lot. I don't think you need to use that much. I did do a test with the Cocoakind where I did not apply as much as I usually would, and it went well on the skin, but I just like to use a lot when it comes to an oil cleanser. So I take out the amount that I need, and then I rub it together in the fingertips of my hands, not even in the palms, in the fingertips. And I directly apply it all over my face, the front of my neck, the back of my neck, the sides. And then sometimes I'll take it down to my chest area as well. And then I go ahead and what I do is I cleanse with the oil cleanser for 30 seconds. Then I go ahead and I add water onto my hands. I make my hands damp and I apply it to my skin. And that's where you start to see the milk formulation come through, which is what you want in an oil cleanser, because then that means that it's emulsifying And the process of emulsifying really just allows the product to work deeper, and it kind of intensifies the cleansing process and make sure that you're really rinsing off and, you know, finally like kind of getting to the final step of needing to rinse off the product from your face, making sure that all of that dirt and debris, the makeup, is being removed from the skin. So now I'm gonna review these two products. Starting with the Versed Cleansing Balm. Is this a product that I would say that you should pat or toss on your skin? I would definitely recommend that you pat this product on your skin. There are pros and cons to this product that I will talk about. The pros of this product is that the packaging is very easy to use. Overall, I actually prefer to use balms as my first step in my double cleanse process, just because it's easy to scoop out the amount that you use. It rubs together easily, it melts down easily, and then you can apply it to your skin. I don't know which ingredient it is in the Versed product, but my skin, for whatever reason, it tended to stick to the skin. As I mentioned earlier, with your double cleanse, you want to make sure that yes, it's thick and it removes the makeup, but I don't really want to have another layer. You know, I don't want to be removing the impurities and the debris in the makeup and then have to go ahead and really work at removing the product on my skin. So in my opinion, you know, I definitely loved using this oil cleanser. It's great, but I will say that it was, I did have to work a little bit at it to get it off my skin as part of my double cleanse process. But I would still recommend that you pat this on your skin because it really gets the makeup off. It gets off the sunscreen, the debris from the day, and it definitely helps my skin feel like refreshed and prepared for the actual cleansing process. So I would recommend that you pat this on your skin, with the unfortunate con that it is a little bit sticky on the skin. Hey y'all, so I lost the footage for this video, for this part yesterday. I don't know where it went. Something happens. I'm still learning, but it's gone. But I wanted to just record really quickly about this Cocoakind oil cleanser and to let you all know that I would definitely recommend that you pat this on your skin. The pros for this cleanser is that it definitely gets everything off. It is a very powerful cleanser. And I remember when I purchased it, the one concern I had was I wish this was bigger, because I just knew with the amount that I used that I would finish it. And I think I've had this cleanser for about 2 weeks. And as you can see, I'm not done, but I'm nearing the end, which is kind of unfortunate because it's such a great cleanser. The only con that I have with this cleanser is the fact that the tube, it's very thick. Not the tube, sorry, the product itself is very thick, and I find that it's hard to get out from the tube, but I think that's the only con I have. And then maybe the other con I had is just I wish it was a bit bigger. Same price. I wish it was bigger, but I wish it was the same price. But yeah, besides those two things, I absolutely love this cleanser. It's weird because when I was using this cleanser for the first week, I felt like it was really thick on my skin, but I've started to realize recently in reusing it that it's actually not that bad. You know, I feel like it definitely gets off my skin. There's no like film or layer on my skin after I use it. So that makes me happy. So I'm very happy about that. So I would definitely recommend that you pat this on your skin. And then really quickly, I wanted to kind of talk about the difference between a gel and a balm. For me, I think there's only one difference, and it might be a huge difference to some, it might be small to others. I find the biggest difference between a gel oil cleanser versus like a balm is I think that the balms break down easier. In terms of applying it onto the skin, I find with like a gel-like consistency, you almost have to drag it against the skin until it's finally like on and it's melted and then it starts to go. Whereas with a balm, it instantly just breaks down and you're good to start applying it on the skin. So that's my two things. You know, if you don't mind that initial like draggy feeling on your skin, then you shouldn't mind using a gel. But I find that balms are really great because they just, you scoop it out of the container and you instantly are able to just go ahead and start using it. You don't have to rub it too much, and you apply it to the skin and it's good to go. But it might be a big deal to some, it might not be a big deal to others. Me, myself, I prefer to use a balm oil cleanser, but I saw this and I loved the ingredients. I like the packaging as well, it was very cute. And then also, I like the name, like Cocoakind. I thought it was kind of cool, so I was like, I really want to try this out. But in general, I do prefer to use balm oil cleansers for that fact that it just instantly is able to break down easier, in my opinion. So there you have it. That is my review and comparison between using the balm oil cleanser versus like a gel-like consistency oil cleanser, and comparing the Versed oil cleanser versus the Cocoakind oil cleanser. That's it for me today. I thank you so much for watching this video. Please consider liking this video, sharing, and commenting below. I have new videos each week, and please consider also